Hello everybody and welcome to Unstoppableness Gaming. Today I am making a Wi-Fi Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire battle video, and I'm just trying to get ready for Pokemon Sun and Moon. I really want to do some really cool battling and record some cool gameplay from that, and this is just kind of like a test. Sorry the quality is kind of bad. I recorded the stream with my own camera. I really want to get a capture card 3DS, but it's really expensive and I'll have to wait a little bit before I can get it. So if you guys like this content and you want to see more in the future but with better quality, just go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about this kind of videos, and let's just go ahead and enjoy this video here. Alright, today's Wi-Fi battle is against a trainer named Dominique. At the beginning of the battle, Dominique sent out Steelix, and I myself also sent out my Steelix. And right here I was thinking Steelix versus Steelix, one of them is going to be faster, so let's see which one's faster. And his Mega evolved first, so I was thinking maybe it was faster. But then I also went for my Mega Evolution and my Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix is the only Mega Pokemon I carry in this battle party. So let's see what this went down here. After I Mega Evolved, I decided it's time to use Earthquake because it's Steel type and Steel is weak to ground. So I used Earthquake and my Pokemon ended up being faster. I didn't think his Pokemon knew any ground type moves, but I think he knew he had to get out of there, so he used Dragon Tail to get a free turn and get some damage. So he got his Pokemon out of there. Well, my Pokemon anyways. And it switched me to Gyarados, which would be an even worse matchup for him. So my Gyarados just lowered his attack. And I'm going to go in and try to take out the Pokemon with a waterfall, but he ends up switching his Pokemon out. Alright, so he sends in a Goodra next, and my Pokemon goes in for the waterfall still. It doesn't do much damage, but it still does enough that I know my Ice Fang is going to do a lot of damage. So next turn here I go in for the Ice Fang. My Pokemon is a lot faster than his. Goodra is kind of a slow Pokemon. And then he goes in for the Power Whip, and Power Whip is such a powerful move. I thought it was going to one-hit KO me, but I still hung on a little bit because Gyarados is a pretty strong bulky Pokemon, and the Ice Fang goes ahead and finishes off Goodra, and Goodra is out of the battle. That is now 2-3. I'm ahead with my Pokemon, and I have one of them that's injured pretty well, and my Steelix has got some health taken away, but not too much. So he then goes in with an Infernape, and he goes for the Mach Punch, and that is enough to take out my Gyarados. So Gyarados is now out of the battle, and he has an Infernape and is now 2-2. He's ahead basically in the HP and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and send in Crobat because my Crobat is more of a status Pokemon instead of like a fighting one. I go in for Confuse Rays and I go in for Toxics and stuff. I went in for the Confuse Ray this time. Thank God I didn't go for Toxic, or that would have ruined everything because Steelix is not affected by Toxic. So I go in for the Confuse Ray to kind of set things up. And then I'm thinking, okay, this Pokemon's going to have some rock type moves. It's going to one-hit KO Crobat. I'm going to need Crobat in the future. So I go ahead and go for the U-turn to switch out my Pokemon. Alright, Crobat comes on back, and I'm going to switch into my Steelix. And Steelix is going to try to finish this Pokemon off. Let's see what he does here. Steelix, I choose you. And Steelix is now in the battle. We have two Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix is one of the coolest looking Mega Pokemon out there. Alright, but he's confused. He ends up using Heavy Slam. And this move does absolutely no damage almost. It's crazy how defensive Steelix is. But then I go in for the Earthquake, but his Pokemon is actually faster on this turn for some reason. He must have a higher priority move. But the Confusion does go into effect, and my Earthquake goes in and actually finishes him off right here. And Steelix is now out of the battle. I now have two Pokemon against his Infernape. Let's see how this thing plays out. Let's see what kind of moves he uses against my Pokemon. Infernape is also a fighting type, so that means it's going to be really good against Steel type Pokemon. And the close combat is going to come in and do a lot of damage, but it is not enough to take my Steelix out because Steelix is pretty bulky with the good defense. And now his defense is down. It's just going to take one Earthquake probably to take him out. So let's see how this goes down. And some of the HP is gone, but the Earthquake, will it be enough to take him out? And the answer is yes, of course. And Infernape is gone, and with that, Unstoppableness Gaming wins the battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you all next time on Unstoppableness Gaming. Thanks for watching.